Half of adults 85 and over have Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's is an irreversible brain disease where individuals lose memory, thinking skills, and the ability to carry out simple tasks. Alzheimer's disease is also the leading cause of dementia, the term used for memory loss due to damage of the brain because of disease. These diseases can drastically change people's lives and their ability to function on a day-to-day basis. My name is Alyssa, and this is my senior project. Every 65 seconds, someone in the United States develops Alzheimer's disease. While the majority of sufferers are over the age of 65, people in their 30s and 40s can be affected as well. Alzheimer's slowly destroys the brain and erases memories from the people who suffer from it. And losing the ability to retrace steps is one of the symptoms. People with Alzheimer's usually experience the 5 stages: preclinical Alzheimer's disease, mild cognitive impairment due to Alzheimer's disease, mild dementia due to Alzheimer's disease, moderate dementia due to Alzheimer's disease, and severe dementia due to Alzheimer's disease. Dementia, unlike Alzheimer's, is not a disease, rather an overall term for diseases that cause a decline in memory and motor skills. The Bright Focus Foundation defines dementia as the loss of higher level functioning. People who have dementia acquire the cognitive problems associated with it over a few years. Symptoms include difficulty with learning, perceptual motor function, language, and social cognition. Alzheimer's and dementia are also especially hard to predict or prevent, making them even more destructive. When it came time to choose my project, I knew I wanted to do something to make a difference. So volunteering was an easy choice. As an aspiring healthcare professional, my mind wandered to something more medical. In my life, I've always loved helping others and wanted to try something new to understand the realities that are other than myself, which for some people, that reality is a lot different. For my senior project, I volunteered at the Burgess at Concord, which is a facility for seniors who have diseases such as Alzheimer's that limit memory. Each week, my project hours consisted of going to the Burgess and volunteering by working with the residents. And for the research component, I researched the causes of memory loss and the different treatments that are available. My experience with the residents was different each time I went. Some days were hectic and loud and crazy, but some days were more quiet and slow. I did a multitude of activities with them. Each week, I would help the staff with parallels, which are individual activities for each resident. They include dancing, singing, hand care, nail care, and other sensory activities. Because in fact, sensory is extremely important to people suffering from memory loss. Alzheimer's affects the body as well as the brain, so activities like exercise are extremely beneficial. Trivia games and puzzles were something we did quite often to stimulate the brain and critical thinking. These are some pictures. We baked cupcakes, went on walks, decorated gingerbread houses, played board games. Before I started volunteering, I was kind of nervous about how hard it would be to interact with people with memory loss, because not only does Alzheimer's, affect the body and the brain, it affects cognitive functions like speech and language. I was nervous about upsetting them or saying the wrong thing. However, one of my successes during this project was learning how to communicate with them and how to say the right things and do the right things. On my first day there, I was asked to take this woman on a walk. It was a nice day out and she wanted some fresh air. So I remember being nervous and not knowing quite what to say, but conversation actually came quite easy and I ended up learning a lot about her. And she was asking me questions about where I went to school and about what sports I played. And I remember thinking, wow, her memory's great. She seems fine. And then she asked me the same set of questions she had just asked and told the same stories that she had just told. Working with those who have dementia can be challenging. It's hard to reintroduce yourself to the same group of people every week. It's frustrating to feel yourself beginning to build relationships with them, but they don't really remember who you are. The biggest challenge I faced during my project actually had nothing to do with dementia. It had more to do with the medical side of things. I was working with the resident, and we were walking, and she was really happy. She was singing and dancing, and as we were walking down the hallway, she fell. When a resident falls, there's a very certain protocol that needs to be followed. You can't touch them, you can't help them stand up. You just have to wait for the nurse to arrive, which was very new for me. As I feel like most people, when someone falls, you want to help them up, but you can't. So learning all the different protocols with the facility was definitely a learning experience that was beneficial because I want to work in the medical field. And although the resident received proper medical treatment, it was still a challenging situation. I have learned so much from this experience. This project has taught me an incredible amount and reminds me why I want to go into the medical field. I believe the most powerful lesson I learned is how important it is to take care of others. I love this quote. In order to care effectively for a person living with dementia, you must accept the way things are and then introduce change into your life. By Bob DeMarco. This quote to me sums up my entire experience. Caring for those with memory loss is especially important. Each week, I witnessed every employee there care for those who couldn't care for themselves. Most importantly, they knew how to. Alzheimer's disease affects people's ability to function on a day-to-day basis, which is why their care is so critical. Caring for people with Alzheimer's and dementia requires patience and understanding. It requires technical skill, but you still need empathy and kindness. Anybody can do the basics, but only those who introduce change into their lives can effectively care for others. Thank you.